guys? Hope you're doing well. So just recapping my week, I went to Felipe's on Wednesday, caught up with Joey. We hadn't caught up in several, maybe even going back to 2017. So it was kind of fun, just trying to catch up on his life and he catch up on my life and kind of reflect on, the 5 years that it's probably been since we've had, a long conversation. I really just, I think I love those because it's just fascinating to have the hindsight of time. And then just also see, how, people have different life experiences and, kind of learn about that, um, for example, I didn't do a lot of traveling, um, in terms of living abroad ever or anything like that. And so it's always cool for me to like hear stories of people that live abroad, and what kind of, uh, effect that has on them. I think it was interesting. I can't remember who I interviewed, but someone I interviewed for the podcast said one of their best pieces of life advice was, traveling before you have kids, especially like, backpacking trips or things like that. Because once you have kids, it's not as easy to do. Um, and then Friday, got dinner at Ixtapa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mexican cuisine in Watertown, with Josh and John. Um, they have great portions there. Um, I enjoyed the food. Um, and then Saturday, went to Sorrento's, back in my hometown in Acton, met up with my friend Dino. Um, and sorry to all three of these people for forgetting to vlog them. I just um, just forgot, honestly, and just, with talking. Um, haven't seen Dino or, caught up with him since like 2013, so that was another good one, where, we caught up on a lot of different things and themes and, really being and doing what makes you happy. And that can be tough, right? It might mean, you know, you leave the path that everybody thought you were going to do, but at the end of the day, I think it's, for me, we spend so many hours at work in our life, to not find some enjoyment, to me is a tough statement. Again, I know people make sacrifices, for financial reasons and things like that, and do things that they may not necessarily like, and I totally understand that. Just for me, obviously, I'd rather do something that I enjoy at least a little bit, if I'm gonna spend so much time doing it. Saw Laksh on Saturday, and that was good. Always fun to brainstorm. It's funny, like, just doing that with him a little bit, like, you realize, like, if you created the space for brainstorming, how many, like, thoughts and ideas and realizations you make. So definitely recommend that as a activity. Went to World of Beer to celebrate Conor's birthday, and they make a drink that's really good, Tropic Like It's Hot. Definitely recommend that. Um, yeah, I mean, community is just so good. And yeah, outside of that, as you saw, continuing to, exercise and work out. It's been really fascinating for me because I've never had that be a part of my life consistently. And like, it's really um, been a part of me since the new year. And I love it. It's really funny. Like, I like can't imagine my days without it, honestly. It's just, you just enjoy, the challenge of exercising. Um, that being said, a show like, a couple times just, physically not feeling, the best. So I'd do like a 0.6 mile run or a 0.73 mile run. And I think that relationship of, we do it with our mental, hopefully we do it, where we rest when we need to. But I think physically too, like when you're not feeling it, to not push it. I think that's um, something we should incorporate. And then Saturday went to Bow Market, um, hung out with Drew, Haley, Maria, Emily, and Hannah. That's a cool spot if you've never been in Somerville. I've never been during the day. I should probably check it out during the day, but it's just a cool spot, outside gathering spot. Um, we got into a discussion about like the difference in the female versus male perspective, and it's really fascinating. Just kind of comparing the two, like um, like for parties, um, and getting back home, like females often have a buddy system where they don't let, a person walk alone home. Whereas males, like I feel like we always walk home alone, and never think about that. Um, Females tend to probably share locations with each other more often than men do. And I think are generally more caring and loving, um, you know, in terms of like for birthdays, like uh, you know baking a cake, or like putting a long, like a a collage of photos on your Instagram story. Um, and we got into, and I know this might be somewhat like not controversial, but we got into talking about um, when people get married, how the last name is always assumed to be the man's, and whether that's a is that not the definition of patriarchy, or how do we look at that? And it's just interesting. It's all interesting points. The system that's been handed down to us. I think it's just so important to question it. And see why we have the traditions that we have and the rules that we have. If we do believe in equality. Um, and so I don't know what that means. I don't have all the answers of, whether that means, both parties just keep their last names, or like what happens to the children, or maybe you hyphenate them, or what the deal is there. But I think it's just important to not just accept traditions as they are, but to ask why, why they are what they are. Um, I watched the movie Just Go With It. Um, it's an interesting movie. The setup of the whole story is, Adam Sandler, 's character gets cheated on, and that, turns him, into this person that doesn't trust, women, and then starts, becoming like a player. Um, and it's another, obviously it's a fictitious story, but it kind of highlights the effects of lying. The person that he ends up meeting, she sees the fake wedding ring, and then so Adam has to make this whole story about getting divorced and things like that, which is not true. Um, I think with Jennifer's Aniston's characters, like the kids, um, you strangely get a sense of what it's like to not have two parents. Like there's a moment where the son talks about not being able to spend enough time with his father. And they never show the father in the film, but like even though he was joking and he was trying to get something out of Adam Sandler's character, kind of like was like, oh wow, yeah, I mean that's if it's weekdays with mom and then weekends with dad or whatever the arrangement is, um, that's an interesting perspective. I think the facade of being happy, Jennifer Aniston's character, and then the person that plays Devlin in the movie, when they see each other at this Hawaii resort, they start bragging about their husbands' jobs, and they start bragging about how good their relationship is when really Jennifer's not married to Adam, and Devlin's not married, or Devlin's relationship with her husband isn't that great. Oh, spoiler alert. um, but I think he teaches us a couple of different lessons. The first being, I think we always go to the physical when we think about our partner, um, and certainly attraction is important. Um, but at the end of the day, I think in the ending scene, Adam's character says something like, in terms of love, it's just about that person and not imagining life without them. And that's such a cool way to put it. Two other things that are interesting. I think jealousy is always a sign of maybe you have feelings for someone. Adam gets into some jealous moments with the like a mustache man that Jennifer's character is going on a date with, which that to me is kind of funny. And then the second thing, I don't know if this is with the culture that we've created the past several years and thinking about representation, but it was interesting, especially as a minority, to like look at how the minorities in the film were characterized. And the cleaning lady is Hispanic and crazy. There's a black kid that hits his pregnant mom with a drink in the parking lot. In the finals of a dancing competition, the fat person is doesn't make the finals and is kind of called out. Um, I again, like I said before, I don't know what the right and wrongs of all this stuff are, and what people are thinking. Um, but it is interesting. Um, even in a situation where I'm just trying to enjoy the movie, and like give a review on the psych of it, that as a minority I see those things. But overall, great movie. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks, guys.